Right, welcome back to Half Cut Underinformed. We're doing another episode with a whisky novice. I would say weird whisky novices as well, but welcome back, Sean.
Cheers,
And we also have Gary from East City Whisky Club. Welcome back, thank you very much. We're going to do an hour episode, talk about the Drams, talk about what's been happening. Welcome. I was going to just go straight into it. Let's go for it. You've been sitting in front of us for a wee while, so we're going to go from left to right.
Cool.
Me and Anton have got you half Drams. I'm working early in the morning. Let's go for it. I know what this is, so cheers,
Thanks, boys.
I think I'm after saying slange now. I heard somebody else complaining about it, and I was like, that's a good
You
point.
need to say slange when you're having a whisky, mate.
I've spoken about this one. I'm going to give this away straight away, but I've spoken about this one, Hunters.
I already know what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it is when I smelled it. I did have a smell of it earlier on. But as soon as it tasted it, it was like, it's unmistakably Campbelltown.
Yep.
You've spoken about this a lot, and I can see why.
That's good, isn't it?
Aye, it's lovely.
Do you know what it is? I'll give you a wee bit more time.
I don't think it's a Springbank, therefore I'm leaning towards it's a Glen Scotia.
Oh, fair enough. You can have your own wee think, go for it. So in the interest of keeping this kind of a wee bit open for people to watch who aren't into whiskey, soon we're going to talk about some other things just to kind of keep the conversation going. Somebody pointed out to me I've got a bit of an irrational fear in things. I wanted to know if you've got any irrational fears. I was saying to you.
Aye, mate. I've got one, and it's a specific noise, and there's two things that I think make the same noise, and they just give me the heebie-jeebies. See when polystyrene rubs together, or see when your freezer needs defrosted and you pull a drawer out.
Oh,
that noise.
Squeak.
Oh, I fucking hate it, man.
Do you know what? See, talking about stuff like that, right? Do you know what? No, it doesn't scare me, right? See the noise of a ladder when you bring it out and it batters off a wall or something?
Aye.
I'm ready for battering everybody, man. I'd boot the dog up and down the hall, mate. That noise, this man nutting, instantly makes me angry. What's yours? You get any?
You said this in the more irrational fears, and I was like, spiders, and you're like, that's not irrational.
That's just a fear.
That's just a straight up fear.
Mate, he gets carried to
It's
deal
a
with
valid fear, mate. It's scary.
No, but he gets carried to deal with him in the house.
Don't blame me.
She can deal with the big ones.
Yeah.
I had to deal with one up my living room all the other week, and I done it myself because nobody else was there, and I couldn't leave that one because it was in the living room. Irrational. Really don't like cucumber.
You're going to say I really don't like you.
You come back to me with irrational.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
cucumber.
that was a problem I had, because I kind of had to think about it, and I was like, nah, any fear I've got is a completely irrational fear. Like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of heights. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done, like, not skydivers or anything, but I've done, like, sort of like a zip line across a Clyde for charity and stuff like that.
Sounds actually quite good, mate. I'd love to do that.
But going up in the lift, and I'm kind of like clinging on. But then once you're up there, you're like, well, there's only one way out of this, and you've got to go down. And even then, I'm kind of like, these guys probably do this hundreds of times. You're harnessed in everything else. I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
It's only 0.001% something could go wrong, so
I've bet.
And so, but then, but also as well, and then I think to myself, well, but that is a completely irrational.
I think that's normal enough.
Rational fear is like, people shouldn't be hundreds and hundreds of meters up in the sky.
No, 100%.
I think, but yeah, rational fears, yeah, it's similar things. Like, I'm not a big fan of spiders or insects in general.
And I quite creepy.
It's like, I always remember, like, years ago, was like when I was a young kid, and I grew up in a wee village outside Perth, and they used to have an old World War II hospital. So it was built for the Second World War. And so it was all single-storey buildings over this mass sort of area. It was like a wee village, you know. It was like, we used to run our BMXs and everything around there. And me and my pals were out one day, and I got a fly or a wasp or something stuck right in my ear.
Oof.
And I couldn't get it out. And I'm like, but this thing in my ear. Thankfully, it was already in the ground. It was like vibrating right on my eardrum. It was like if you imagine sort of like the buzzing of like a fly or a blue bottle or something like that, but then magnified like 1,000,000 times, and it's like ringing through your head. And it was just, ever since then, it's like, as soon as I get any sort of like bugs or flies or anything come near my head, I'm kind of like,
PTSD.
I get panicky, man.
Yeah,
You know?
that sounds
It's like,
fucking horrible.
but yeah, it was brutal. I mean, like, thankfully I was already in the hospital grounds, so I
Aye.
just kind of like ran into the hospital, beating the side of my head like a madman. It's like,
Kept in for 40 years.
aye. Somebody come along and pulled out with a set of tweezers,
Like
you know,
that, mate.
just like, but aye, there's, but yeah, like I say, apart from that, I can't think of anything
Nah.
completely irrational.
What
that-
about you? You got anything irrational except for that noise?
Aye. So I don't like cheese, right?
Right.
I don't like cheese.
This is top class podcasting, isn't
Aye,
it?
mate. See if somebody's eating like something like Parmesan or Stilton or something.
Like really stinky cheese.
Gives me the fear, mate.
I love
Really,
a wee,
yeah.
a wee stinky number.
I think I know where it stems from, but see when I was younger, my granny used to watch me and she'd have 2 digestive biscuits with like a big thick bit of cheese
Wedge
in the
of
middle.
cheese in it.
And she'd be eating it and she'd be like, come here, son, and crumbs and all that be falling everywhere.
You got some cheese nut beard in that.
So,
So,
aye, mate.
somebody pointed
Don't know if
this out-
that's irrational or no, but
No,
it's
aye.
irrational to me.
So, see, my irrational fear, somebody pointed out to me when I said, oh, I'm feared of that, was see films like Willy Wonka, see like that, and Alice in Wonderland, and
The original one.
Wizard of Oz, mate, see stuff like that, it used to terrify me, and I
Really?
still can't watch it.
What's
Makes me
fantasy?
Aye, mate. Mate, remember the Never Ending Story with the big dragon?
Yeah.
Aye.
Terrified of that, mate.
I loved that
Oh,
film,
I
mate.
loved
hated
that
that.
as well.
I was
That big
terrif-
dragon that looked like a big dog.
I did, mate, and it
Aye.
spoke. That's the thing that
Aye,
freaked
big
me out.
flying
So
dog,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is. I think because like Alice in Wonderland and do you remember what was the one with the Wizard of Oz? It had the monkeys in it.
Flying monkeys.
The flying
Mate,
monkeys.
See
yeah.
that stuff? That pure freaked me out. And then Willy Wonka and the Charlie and Chocolate Factory when they were in and then all the wains were dying, and I was
Mate.
like, these wains are dying. Like,
The bit when they go through the tunnel in Willy Wonka and the boat,
Well,
but
they
that
don't
is
all
freaky.
die, because that's the whole thing, isn't it?
Aye,
It's
but-
like each one of them is like, oh no, well, like squeeze Violet until all the juice comes out, and then she'll be all right. So it was all like in the end that they were supposedly all survived.
Didn't
But yeah,
stay
so you're not a big fan of sort
No,
of
mate.
like witchy sort of
terrified.
like.
Mate, I'm and I was trying
you
not to
scared of
swear.
clowns?
No, we've
That's the
talked
first thing I said to him.
No,
What about
alright.
horror movies in
Mate,
general?
people dressing up, seeing when I was younger, I was like 6 or something, like 6, like that age. See, going on like school trips, and there was like theme or whatever you were going, like theme parks or whatever,
Alton
and there
Towers.
was people dressed up.
Yeah.
I was feared of them and all.
Just
Oh,
steer
mate,
clear of them.
I used to pure run a mile. Like my mum would take me to birthday parties, I'd bust out greeting because somebody dressed up as something, and I was like, that's it pure. I don't know what it is. It pure freaked me out, and it still freaks me when I see somebody. For example, me and Rebecca went to where was it? Universal Studios in Singapore.
Aye.
And it was Shrek, mate, and I've got a picture of a Shrek, and I'm pure miles away from him, just sat to smile, trying to look funny for the picture, but I was feared of him, I'm like that.
Fear of Shrek, man.
Mate, I just don't like people dressed up as things, man.
Mate, you'll
Shrek
never
feeling.
be able to take your wine trick or treating ever, man.
I'll be feared of the Wayne.
Exactly.
I know.
Aye, no cosplay for you, mate.
Putting the Wayne up and down.
Aye.
Aye, mate, that's, I'm feared of that too, like, it was just weird, I don't know where it came from. So, and see the thing about films, I think it's like, because they're that close to, they could be real. Obviously, no, they're no real, but like, because of, I don't know how to explain this. Like,
Because when you watch like wee Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you think that could
mate, I
happen.
would never watch. See, another thing about films, right? See, if there's a horror film, I like the idea of horror films, and I don't watch them because I'm a shite bag. I was trying not
Aye.
to swear, but I will see a film advertised, and I'll Google the name of it, go into Wikipedia and read the plot if it's a scary film, just so that I know what happens in it.
Aye.
Because I'm like, I just can't watch it. See, like
Get
jump scares
a
and stuff.
precursor so
Aye.
you know what's
Aye.
going on.
No, mate, I don't even watch a film. I just read the plot to the film, and then that's it.
That's enough to
That was
get
a
you
good one.
spooky.
I enjoyed that.
Have you seen the advert for the new It Series, the prequel to
Aye.
It?
Welcome to Derry.
So I watched
Welcome to what?
Welcome to Derry, it's called, because Derry's the name of the clown.
All right.
So I watched the
Is
first
it, aye?
watched the first episode and I was like, this is quite good, man, good story. And then I got to the second episode, man, things started happening. I was in there myself with the lights off.
Nature.
So as I was with Doug, and I was like, right, man, we'll go up to bed.
Up to bed.
Aye, we'll go up to bed,
You need
man.
to put on
Check
like
all the
something
doors,
funny,
no?
but after you watch something scary, I think
Aye,
that'd
you
be
need-
soothing.
Like, aye, yeah.
My
I like
missus
Bush
loves
Alive.
a horror. Like, it's like she likes a good horror movie, but like proper sort of like old school sort of like Hammer horror. She doesn't like anything like Saw movies or stuff like that. Anything that's kind of too real. She likes things that's like kind of almost like
Ridiculous.
like 70s things where it's just like stupid amounts of
Aye,
blood
like mad slasher films and all.
just like Scream or something
Aye.
like that. She likes all that sort of thing, but yeah, anything that's potentially
Could be pretty real.
could be pretty real, and you know, America. A lot of
Mate,
these
what
things.
happened in the 70s, man? In America, there was just millions of them. Millions of serial killers.
Yeah, millions of serial killers and millions of movies about serial killers.
cause
you know?
it's-
Millions of good ones.
Aye.
They made the headlines.
Well, they
With
were
technology,
pretty
it's get
good, man.
hard. I don't mean like it's good to be a serial killer, but it's harder to be a serial killer now. Where
Aye,
the
don't
amount
get
of
the
like
big names in there,
DNA
do
and
you?
all that. Do you know what I mean?
It's not as easy to get away with.
I don't think they're
Yeah,
getting nicknames or that now. Do you know
No.
what I mean? The BTK killer and all that.
Nah.
So I just don't think they're getting stuff for that. Have you?
Like you say, they get caught quicker as well. You know, is you can't get a good run these days.
It's the
that's,
same, innit?
that's the problem.
it's hard to
You
build up a streak.
can't get a good sort of like 10, 20 kills in. You know, it's like you'd be lucky if you last 2 or 3, and then that's you busted, man. You
There's
know?
no kill streaks anyway.
Right, what's your personal best?
See, talk about horror movies. I stayed with my uncle's when I was younger. I must have been like single digit primary age. And he had a couple of beers, and there was some movie on. It was like supernatural, wasn't it? Horror, and he fell asleep, and it was
You
getting
were
to the
left
pure.
watching
It was
it.
left to the pure scare bit, and I couldn't find the remote. I couldn't wake him up, man. He was snoring away, and
Petrified.
I'd phone my mom Green to come pick me up.
What for your uncles?
I was like, never staying here again. No.
I used to love that. Reminds me as well. Was like because I used to love horror movies. So like when I was a kid, it's sort of like ages of like getting looked after by babysitters and stuff like that. And it was about the time where like Hellraiser came out and
Aye.
Nightmare on Elm Street and all these things. And there was a couple. Probably shouldn't say this. I'm going to get them into trouble now. It's like there was a couple that used to look after me, sometimes my big sister. And I remember the guy had like, this was like revolutionary. It was like he had like a VHS player that could record VHSs on another VHS. So back in the days of video shops, you know, so he would rent the videos
Aye,
from
going
like Blockbuster or whatever it was. And, you
Good
know,
old-fashioned
and then
piracy.
Aye, good old fashioned piracy. And then obviously we'd come to stay on the weekend and like stay over, you know, and he'd be like, "Oh, do you want to watch like newest Freddy movie?" And I'm like, "Yes."
And record it.
Aye,
Take it
it's like,
home.
aye, well, I think he'd already recorded them, you know. And was
Is that
like,
that guy that worked in the bars with the big catalogue?
Mate, actually, just when you've said that, I remember when I was an apprentice. Do you remember? You were maybe like, well, you might have gone to my all right because you're a mechanic. I'm a panel beater. Used to get folk walking about with DVDs, try to punt DVDs, and like they walk into the
Spent
thing.
my dad's
What,
work.
at your work?
But it was always like Chinese or Asian.
Mate, I
folk
was
that
about
would
to
walk
say,
in.
there was my dad's work. Chinese guy used to come in with a big massive duffel bag, and if you didn't have what you wanted, he'd come back the next day with
he'd
the
have
movies you
what- have
wanted.
what you
Good
wanted.
service, man.
Aye,
Yeah, it's,
back in the good old days.
Mate, I forgot about that. But the guys would walk in and they'd have like, remember the wee flip cases? Just be
Aye.
like, and it
Oh,
was
for,
just
like,
discs and it would just be
CDs.
written on it. And they're like,
aye,
just like,
DVDs.
Aye.
and all these films were still just, like, I think some of the films weren't even in the pictures and all that.
Yeah.
It's mad what they were doing.
The chip PS2 games and all.
I remember that was a thing, yeah. I just couldn't.
PS1 games in the bars. Mind that.
Mate, you could probably get a fortune for PS1 games in it.
Aye.
Aye,
That's
but,
right.
See,
yeah,
got like,
people
what-
like them all in the genuine cases and
Aye.
like the
Oh, I'd be
original.
opening. It's like whiskey for me. I'd open them and play them.
Well,
and
aye, same thing with whiskey as well. Was like, I mean, people are really funny, especially if you're like top collectors as well. Was like, depends if you're collecting sort of higher end stuff, you want like the box to be mint. You don't want any creases on the box. You want
Aye.
it to have like the original tag that went around the top of the bottle.
So the Pokemon cards, man, used to have thousands of them, and just
Yeah,
in my
it's-
dad's old briefcase.
It's like
Records
all
and all,
that, man. Big
Batter
market
bends
records.
and like all the corners are all same with records
Yeah.
as well. You know, it's like, but if you're a proper record geek, you know, it's got to be completely mint. And come out as
Unplayed
Yeah.
almost.
come out
man.
as
That's-
polythene seal 3 times. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
You got to Blockbuster and having to get in and choose a video. It's not like you're on
Yeah, that
Netflix
was- I
just
remember that.
scrolling. Do you know I've got one shot at this?
Do you remember you had there was one in Muirhead we used to go to right across from where you used to now.
Was there one there? The one
And
I
there's
used to
one
go
up
to
there
was
we
up
used to-
at...
it was a pure day out, man.
up
Like,
at
oh, we're going
next
to
to
get
Burger
ready.
King. video
Aye,
shop.
mate, I mean, Movie Express.
Aye. Yeah, I used to remember walking about and there was just loads of video cases. I'm like, that's classic. You get games and that.
Aye.
You used to rent games and take games and play the games and take them
PS2
back.
game, you had a
Aye,
weekend to
get
complete
2
it. A
shots
weekend to
in, you
complete
come
it.
back, take it back.
Aye.
And it must have been like right the very end of like video shops. It was
Aye.
like by the time you could rent games and stuff like that. Because again, by that time you were probably verging onto like online stuff as well.
Aye, mate. So the other thing I remember was Netflix. I don't know how this came for Irrational Fears. Netflix used to send out
Aye,
DVDs.
love movies, mate. That's
Oh,
what
love
it's
that's
all
how we
movies,
for.
aye.
started, wasn't it?
We used to get them through, and through the door. And
Aye,
I'd
but
be,
it came in like it wasn't in the DVD case. It was like a wee.
It was a letter.
Aye,
Aye, it was mad.
I know.
And you could see it.
Aye,
I remember that too, and you have
Used
to
to
send it back.
aye.
I used to have a similar thing, but it was CDs, so it was albums, but you didn't have to send them back. Like you paid a monthly subscription fee, and the more that you picked stuff off of them, and the more that they learnt your sort of taste in music, then the more they would recommend similar things to you. I mean, you still got to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like off the top
Spotify
of my
now.
head, it was like basically like 3 or maybe like 5 albums that you were allowed to pick for a set fee each month, and they would just post them out to you. But yeah, I was like, I completely forgot about that as well. And then obviously things
They were ahead of
evolved
the
into-
game by the sounds of it.
I know, I was thinking that's
Yeah,
quite
well,
good.
again, it's like, I mean, it's like you were saying with Netflix as well, and then they sort of realised that there was a change of the tides and it had to go online. You know, there was no point in having tangible stuff anymore. CDs are getting scratched, getting lost, broken, whatever else. It's like, oh, this is all.
You did have to do that with your PS2 games, didn't you? Sure, check if they were clean.
Aye.
Get them away and put them back in.
Well, so like, so I've had this conversation with loads of people, right? Was so like mini disc players. I was a massive fan of like mini disc players, and I still think the format was really, really good.
What is a mini disc?
So it was basically like a CD, but it was only like about that size.
Was it the CD
Um,
player?
But instead of it being like a CD where it would get scratched and get buggered
Is
and
that it's
everything
kind of like a
else,
floppy disk
it was
idea thing?
it was encased in like a
right.
plastic casing.
Aye.
But then the other bonus was as well was like you could buy the blank mini discs. You buy a pack of them for like, I can't even remember what it was. You buy a pack of 5 or a pack of 10, but then you could squeeze about 4 albums onto one mini disc.
Aye.
And then you had like a portable mini disc player, which was like smaller than, you know, a cassette Walkman or something like that, instead of one of these big stupid fucking CD
Aye.
Walkmans that any time you walk anywhere and the thing's just shaking all the time, it's just skipping all the time. So the format was fantastic, and I always think like the only problem with the mini disc player was the fact that they came out at the wrong time, because right off the back of the mini disc player was MP3 players,
Aye.
and then MP3
Mate,
players
everything
turned
changed
into the
rapid, didn't it?
iPod,
Aye.
and then everything just moved like so rapid
Do you
after
ever
the
used to
iPod.
transfer like you used to send people like videos and songs, but you had to have your phones
Aye,
touching
infrared,
it?
mate.
Infrared.
Yeah,
Aye, mate,
yeah.
that kind of died
Took
a death. I
ages
know,
and all,
didn't
man.
it? You know?
Fucking ages.
And then
You had to keep it together.
and somebody had to have a computer as well to download the songs off of the computer onto your MP3 player, and then even then your MP3 player could only hold like 80 songs or something at a time. You know, so it was just
I
like
used to burn movies and albums off of like LimeWire and FrostWire on the discs.
right.
They're
I
always
would,
going to
then I would burn them onto my iPod, and I had a pure bad boy on iPod back in the day with 1,000 songs there, but it was all like bootleg albums and like live things
Yeah,
done, and then
yeah,
the
yeah.
iPod just stopped working one day. Got to say, one thing that isn't a horror is that dram.
Nice, innit?
It's
It's
lovely, mate.
gorgeous.
Right, yeah.
Aye,
So,
it's
yeah,
beautiful,
sure.
mate,
So
aye.
you're right, it's a Campbelltown. Gary, what's if you get any more for it?
You get that in your house?
Aye, mate.
I'll be up tomorrow.
It's good, man.
There's
I
some
didn't
sherry in it, but I don't think it's all sherry. I'm going to say bourbon and sherry. Is it a double cask?
I don't think it is. But I should have probably known this before I asked the
Or
question.
is it a
but-
What is a
Victoriana?
double cast?
So it's a mix of 2 separate casks. So I'm
Ah, right,
guessing
okay.
they're
Aye, so it was just basically, I think it was one of the Glen Scotias that come out, and they called it a double cask, so it was basically like a bourbon sherry cask.
that was the one I tried. Remember I said I made an ass of myself. That was the one I tried and we couldn't figure it. But it turns out there is peat in that, by the way. Remember we were talking about the Glen Scotia? Me and you had the drams up here.
Aye, so we were right,
There
but
was
on
that.
camera we said we were wrong.
I think so. Aye.
It reminds me of a Victoriana.
I don't know what that is.
Which is, again, just another one of Glen Scotia's releases.
So it's you're right. Campbelltown. It is a Hazelburn, 8-year-old
Ah.
also.
You're always
I was
talking
talking
about
about
that.
that.
You knew that, didn't you?
Yeah, I've said it in every podcast. And I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
and then I was like, well, we'll get it for the Hingleys, and then the guys poured the 3 of them at £8 each, and I was like, oh fuck.
That's terrible. I had that at my tasting last month.
Aye, well, true. It's lovely, isn't it?
But to be fair,
that's my favourite.
we did have 9 drams that night, so I'd be excused for.
So see talking about. I never went to your tasting. I've told you before, Gary, I was, for whatever reason, I was taking a break for the bevy at one point. And then I just never done it. Something, I can't remember what happened. And then can't remember why I wasn't at Springbank. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm finally taking it serious. And I says to my missus the other day, I was like, I'm no drinking for November, except for on the podcast.
So I did 3 a week.
Aye, so I'm doing we're loading up for Christmas because Christmas is fully booked in here the whole of December. But aye, so that was my intention. I wasn't going to drink for November, but just take it for
Here
podcast.
we
Only
are.
for business.
It's
No
a
pleasure.
Is only.
no, some squeezing on the
Well, I
glass.
mean, I only
Paul's
drink
going
for
to need to blur out that Guinness.
I only drink for business reasons, as you boys know.
Aye.
It's never for pleasure.
So see when you like, this is going to sound mental, right? And having 8 and 9 drams is good. I always end up steaming, mate. Like when you have a tasting and it's meant to be 6. Like for example, that what was the one? 1770.
1770 tasting, wasn't it? Yeah, he
rattled
pulled
through it,
out
I
a
was
lot of
rubber.
drams. Yeah,
How many
yeah,
drams?
It was
8
fast.
drams.
People
That'll do
drinking.
it, mate.
No, but he done it in like
It
an
was
hour,
rapid.
an hour and a half.
Are people drinking pints during it, or they smarter
That
than
was,
us?
aye.
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 Pints is standard, you know. It's
Aye.
like that's just cleanse the palate.
That's what
Something to
Gillian
wash it
said.
down.
Yeah, what do you drink whiskey with? And she's like, bud.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm the same. Guinness for me.
But no, I mean, I can kind of get Gillian's point as well. Is like if you're drinking whiskey in terms of a whiskey session or something like that, where it's maybe like a tasting or something, you know you're going to be drinking. You're not just casually drinking 1 or 2 drams in the pub with a couple of pals over like 3, 4, 5 hours, but you're going to be drinking 4, 5, 6
8.
whiskies,
12.
8, 9 whiskies in the space of 3 hours. You know, you don't want to be drinking big, heavy 6.5% craft beers or
No.
you
I
know,
liked
it's
what
like
you
and
said as
so the
well.
bud
Have
kind
it.
of works is
Aye.
light. It's not heavy on the alcohol, but it's just something to kind of cleanse your palate in between the
What you
whiskies,
said as
you know.
well, you said it last time, having a half pint instead of a full pint
Yeah.
will go a long way because you'll drink it the same
You
speed.
drink it at the same
They
speed.
drink
I'm
it just as
guessing.
fast, you know, as some crazy people actually drink water in between their whiskies. It's like
To be fair, I wouldn't mind it. Like, I done that at one of your tastings, mate, and I came out the place absolutely stone cold sober. It felt like I had loads
Yeah.
of water. And
A
I was
waste
like,
of money.
no, I mean, you know, as you know, there's a lot of guys at our tastings as well, and they'll have pint of water,
Mhm.
and then the
They're very
whiskies in front of
methodical,
them,
aye.
you know, it's like,
Aye.
yeah, it's kind of that way. It's like they know they're drinking a lot in a short
Mhm.
space of time, so it's
So
try and pace yourself.
you spoke about you had, in fact, sorry, we'll talk about this after the next dram. We'll go into the next dram if you want to try it. Well, I don't want to rush yous, but
Oh,
we're a
no,
third of
no.
the way through. I'm just trying to make sure we can try all the drams.
Sure.
Again, so Sean, you enjoyed the Hazelburn?
Beautiful, mate. I'd go as far as saying it's probably one of the nicest drams we've had.
I'm
Yeah,
not there, no. I'm
that's
going as far
interesting.
as I'm
Aye.
wanting a
It's
bowl for the house.
I thought
Mate,
that was lovely, man.
I think they're quite hard to get into now. there's small releases.
There's loads of them at auction.
Right, auction.
But,
Much of you for a bottle of that.
so I think it retailed, again, I should know because I bought a bottle. I put it in the tasting. I think it was about 65 off the top of my head. I think it was
Right.
retailing at. And to be honest, only came out maybe a month, 2 months ago. Say a month ago. So give it another month. The price will come back down. Once all the furore and everybody that was desperate
Aye.
that didn't get one in the shops, once they've all sort of pandered and bought one, price will start to come down. You probably get it around about same price. You probably get it like 60, 65, maybe
That's
70
quite
quid
good, aye.
a bottle.
Mate, I loved it. Honestly, it's the fastest I've ever went through a bottle, and I don't drink in the house really.
It's
It's very
interesting
rare
as
to have
well
one.
because I think that dram's quite not complex, but it's like it's quite full on. You know, there's like there's a lot of. I always think Campbelltown whiskies have got this really unique thing where it's like it reminds me of like a car garage or like a welder's workbench or something like that, there's a lot of sort of like burnt metals and sort of like metallic things going on there, you
A
know.
lot of stuff
It's
been
like,
lying there for ages.
So see when I don't know
like
if
sort
your
of like
missus says
like
that.
welding
Aye.
torches and things like that, you know. It's
Aye.
like it's and again, same thing was like years and years ago when I was a kid, and I had a job working with this farmer, fucking terrible job. Was they'd hired me for the summer to help weld sort of like gates and fences and bits and bobs. So he taught me how to spot weld, which was good, but he never paid me. You know, and he was
Crack
always
job.
like, he was always like, next week, aye, and I was like, oh, wages, and he's like, I'll get that sorted for you next week. You come back on Tuesday, aye, and finish that gate off, and
Been
I
back
was
down
like,
with an angle grinder, man.
aye, so it was like, but the one thing that stays with me is every time now that I have things like Glen Scotias, Springbanks, they've got that very characteristic, like I say, almost welder's workshop thing going on, you know, car garage, sort of burnt metal.
Just when you're saying that, my missus always says, see when I come home from work and I've been doing some of my panel beater when I do like fit a quarter panel and welding and I'm grinding it off, my missus will go, you smell like metal. So it must be a very vivid smell. I know what you're talking about, so as you're saying metals and stuff, that dram was the first one where I was like, it felt heavy old compared to what I thought it was, and that was my perception of old, that kind of depth and the complexity in a dram. That was my first kind of.
Is that the one that you said Rebecca smelt and it
Aye.
drifted back?
Aye, that was
Aye.
it. So that might be a case where she smelt it off me and kind of had the same thing. Pure stinking after a day doing quarter panels. Right, we're on to number 2 because time is marching on.
Yep.
Not to rush you guys, apologies.
Oh, good, mate.
I seen this one.
This one's tricky.
Is that? I think I can smell
Go for it.
wine, but I might be talking rubbish.
You smell what you smell, mate. I'm not saying no. Like my ability to pick stuff out's not great.
Yeah, kind of struggling with this one. Don't know where to go.
I've heard a lot about this. I've heard a lot about it. I hope I've not mixed the drams up. I'm saying it's unpeated, innit?
It's definitely unpeated, aye. It's unpeated nice.
But there's a peated version of it I've not tried and I've heard a lot about that as well. But first time I tried it.
Good picks tonight, by the way.
I'm thinking.
I've not tried the third one, mate. I've never
Aye,
tried
I
that.
know
I've
you've
just
not
seen
tried the third
name.
one, but the
no, I
second
mean like
one-
in general, I've never tried either. I've tried that one before, never tried day 2.
Enjoying that.
So I'm going to say it's like relatively young. Like maybe sort of somewhere between 8-10-year-old. I don't think it's old anyway. I don't think it's like 15.
Right, this is where we've kind of relatively young, you're saying.
I think so.
Do you have a region, you think?
This is where I'm kind of struggling.
So I'm going to say, from the picture I've taken, thinking there was going to be a lot of information on it, there's no. There's hundreds of words, but no information.
Aye, but you find that in a
Google
lot
the
of bottles of whiskey. You know, it's
So aye.
Maybe scratch that.
again, I'm kind of struggling.
It's all tasting notes that's on it.
There's a bit of weight behind it. There's a bit of youth behind it. But I mean, even I don't know if it's now just because you mentioned it as well, Sean. I'm starting to think, is there some sort of wine or pour cask?
I'm going to just jump in on this one. If you've got a region, go for a region. I wouldn't expect you to grab this.
I'm going to plump for a Highland because it's got a bit of weight behind it. But I mean, I'm clutching it,
Aye,
clutching
two
at
for two.
straws here.
No, you're bang on.
Clutching at the right straws.
It is a Glen Turret,
Ah,
triple wood. I've heard a lot about it and not tried it, but I'm seeing that and it looks like it's a non-age statement.
yeah,
It does look
I
as
think
if
it
there's
was.
a-
I
There's
think it
no
was.
It's a what?
non-age statement, so I think it's a very young whiskey, as you said.
So it'll just be a vat.
Non-age statement.
So
Like,
basically,
aye.
there'll be a vat of maybe 3 or 4, maybe more than that, various ages of whiskey. But it
Right.
could be stuff. The reason that they don't put an age statement on it is because there's probably some young whiskey in there.
Right.
So rather than them sort of try and discredit themselves by putting 5-year-old on it,
Aye.
because there will be some 12 and some 15-year-old whiskies, maybe even some 18-year-old whiskies in there to try and balance the whole thing
Aye.
out. they'd rather not put 5-year-old on it and just leave it as
Aye,
triple wood
right.
because it sounds better than
Aye.
putting 5-year-old.
Which I didn't understand. That was a very kind of recent thing. And I say recent, maybe the last 6 months or so, where I started noticing non-age statement because they are looking for years. And then I looked into it and started I tried a few, no knowing what they were. Just going, oh, that was lovely. Or didn't like it or whatever.
Maturation in American and European oak, sherry, seasoned, cask, and bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
What percent do you
So-
think it is?
That'll be like 40, 46.
You're good,
It's
Gary.
not a big.
45.
You're doing all right, by the way. You're free for free there.
I think that's absolutely lovely, by the way.
I know, mate.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
We should have more
um,
descriptor words considering we sell whiskey other than just lovely because I'm
It's
the
not,
same.
it's not peated nice and it's quite smooth.
I mean,
Aye.
I think that's the thing is like, I mean, in terms of finding descriptors for whiskey, I don't really think it matters. I really don't. You know, it's like it's maybe nice when you're sitting in front of other whiskey people and you know you can rattle off random things. But as I've said to you guys before, you could sit in a room full of fucking well-seasoned whiskey buffs and rattle off whatever you want.
You don't get toffee
Maybe-
apple and ginger cake. Straight in the front of the bottle.
Nobody's going to disagree with you.
I know.
You know, it's like, so if
What
you-
was that one, that band? I think it was we used. Is it the baby sick one?
Oh,
Oh,
Gary's
I've had
talking
a
about
few
it,
with baby
Yeah,
sick.
right, is it
aye,
that?
Getting hints of baby sick.
That sounds
Aye.
lovely.
there was like, I mean,
Say with confidence, but named the Bassin Island.
Maybe a dog
Oh,
sick
d-
guy.
yeah, it's like honestly, and folk, you can mention baby sick, and folk will
I'd go along
will
with it.
be like, yeah, no, I fucking know exactly what you're talking
Mm.
about, and there is a certain thing. It's like it's not just baby sick, but a similar thing that other people will get, which is a similar sort of flavour, smell profile, is blue cheese.
Oof. I'll be running.
Oh, irrational feels.
Blue cheese and baby sick, mate. You
brilliant.
know, it's like that's your ideal whiskey, Sean.
Not blue cheese and polystyrene.
Fuck.
But yeah, so there was like, it reminds me of, there was Ardmurkin distillery come up with this. I didn't come up with it, but they found this weird cask in a distillery, and it wasn't in like any particularly weird cask. It wasn't like a weird rum cask or anything like that. I think it was just a bourbon cask, but it was so out there. Like nobody really knows what happened to that specific cask that made it taste like that. But it was like any other cask that was in the warehouse that sat next to them, and they were like, yeah, kind of got a bottle of that. It's like, even though it's going to completely divide the audience, they were
I
like,
like that idea, mate. See,
we have to bottle it.
because it's completely different. You're not going for quality. Like, well, obviously you're going for quality, but see if you've got a like, see now, like when I'm in I think I was in a pub a couple of weeks ago. I was just going for whatever was kind of weird. That sounded weird, and I'm like, I just want to try weird. I want to try wild or different.
Yeah,
now.
push
Like,
the boundaries.
I want to know the weirdest. I don't really care for kind of distillery releases and distillers editions. I'm looking for whatever's the weirdest sounding in it.
Something left field.
Aye.
I want to find
Yep.
something that just
Absolutely,
from
man.
either sides, man.
Me and
And
Smudge
that's-
were in here a couple of weeks ago. We went out for his birthday.
Mhm.
Came in here first, had a couple of whiskies and we were looking through them. And there was one that was like tasting notes of bubble gum and all that. I was like, that sounds quite cool,
Was
but
it?
12 quid a pop, mate.
Like, nah.
Maybe
I'm
for his
alright,
40th.
No offer.
No, I mean, I think that's in terms of sort of,
12 quid a pop.
No chance.
but
Bit of bag.
when you're trying to,
Nope.
when you're trying to sort of like broaden your horizons in terms of whiskey, I think that's the right approach to take. Is like, you know, the more that you drink, the more you'll hone down. I like this stuff. I'm not as keen on that stuff.
Mate, so as you're saying that, we spoke about this before, and I spoke about discovering whiskey, and we bottled the stuff that because we're not getting any table our stuff. We bottled Speyside stuff and Highland stuff. It was easy to drink, and then by the time we got to that, I was started trying, and now I'm really into peated stuff, and I'm trying. And
Again, aye, there's like, you know, Hazelburns
Aye.
and Campbelltowns and
Aye, mate, and there's not like I find stuff that I find hard to drink, but I don't find stuff that I dislike. If you get me.
yeah, and
'Cause
it's,
I'm still looking at it as a point where you go and try something and go, that's something to think about, and it sounds like it sounds dickish saying that, but like you go, that's like quite interesting to try.
Aye, mate.
And,
get it,
and
man.
I don't like feel revolted by it that I drink.
No, and
Which is quite good.
it's one of those as well. Is like I always think, you know, in terms of sort of whiskey drinking, certainly for me anyway, you know, it's like it's all about either finding new whiskies that I've never tried before is always a plus, and that brings in sort of world whiskies.
Mhm.
Some of the stuff they're making down south in England is fantastic now. You know, it's like Cotswolds are bringing out great whiskey. White Peak are doing great stuff.
That Filey Bay brought up some good stuff.
Filey Bay have done some amazing stuff. So yeah, there's some real big players down in England that are kind of pushing the boundaries of what you think of as sort of whiskey. And then you've got guys in the US, you know, are making single malt whiskies as well, and they're not as restricted as what we are in Scotland. You got Indian whiskies, Taiwanese whiskies, you know, it's like, I mean, the list goes on, and they're all different.
Mate, so I sent this to Anton, right, and it's Jameson's and it's Irish, obviously. Have you seen it? It's in Co-op. It's the orange stuff. And I've also seen Johnny Walker have got a black cherry thing.
The Johnny Walker Ruby Black I have
Ruby
tried.
black. How is it?
It's good.
What percentage is it? Must be about 37.
43 or something.
Oh, is it?
Oh no, it's
So
still
what are
whiskey.
they doing with that then?
So it's basically a black label, and then they throw the VAT. So, you know, if you're talking about like a blended whiskey, like a Johnny Walker Black Label, it's 12 years old, but what they're doing is they are vatting thousands upon thousands of casks to make that batch of 12-year-old, and it's constant. You know, it's always slightly tweaked. But then basically with the Ruby Black, I'm guessing the only thing they're doing is they're taking a big vat of what was already meant for 12-year-old Black Label, and they take that whole vat and they give it like an extra maturation period of a few months, 6 months, in port casks, I think it was.
Oh, is it?
I think it's Ruby
Mate, I
Port.
thought they were doing, so that's why I brought up the Jameson's Arms thing. I
They've-
thought they were putting additional stuff into it and taking
No,
the
no,
whiskey
no,
away.
so
So that
it's-
still is whiskey?
Still a blend, still a Johnny Walker Black Label, but it's just had like an extra finishing period.
Oh, that sounds actually quite good. I would
either
say,
in
mate,
re-
I like port casks. I
either
really
in
do
red
like-
wine or port cask or something. But again,
Aye.
Ruby Black, you're thinking like, so it's probably Ruby port cask they're using. But yeah, it was decent enough. As you know, I like a Johnny Walker Black Label. You know, as I still drink Johnny Walker Black Label. I mean, preferably I would rather a 1970s bottle than a modern day bottle. But you can still buy a 1970s bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label for not that much more than
Aye.
what you would pay for one in the supermarket. So I was drinking one in the pot still. In fact, it
I've
actually,
seen the photo you put on.
I surprised myself. Was like, I think it was even bigger than a litre bottle. It was maybe like a 1.13 litre bottle or something like that.
Oof, very
And
particular.
yeah, it was like this weird thing they had in the
So was that the standard sizing back then?
60s, 70s, yeah. They had like a 1.13 litre bottle, which would have been, basically were designed for bars. It would have been in an optic.
No,
Right.
Before we had the 2 litre bottles, you know, or, I mean, if you go back far enough, you used to have 4.5 litre bottles,
Some
which
weight
were the
on
ones that everybody
Oh,
used to
oh,
keep
man.
their coins in.
I think it broke that fat.
it. Aye.
You still buy them now and again, and so I'm still trying to get one, like a full one. There is still a few of these old bottles. So again, it'd be like 1970s, 1980s. You would have a 4.5 litre bottle of Bell's or Grouse or
Nam-
Dewar's.
My nan Paul stayed once, put all your coins in. Once it
Yeah.
drank.
Remember the
Exactly
Super
the
Bee?
same. I had them.
What?
You still remember this, the Super Bee?
No. Well, what do you mean?
The Super Bee?
Well, aye.
It was a free off.
You need to enlighten me.
So,
It's like what the
eh,
Super Bee is.
I remember I came home for a holiday and I had like a 3 litre bottle of
Smirnoff.
Smirnoff. That was you. Do you remember the Super Bee? Could you remember what fucking make it was? We never mentioned that.
Now, someone who isn't us. At a
Aye.
party we were at.
Basically doing buckets at the bath with a 3 litre bottle.
That's it.
Just when you said that there, I was like, oh,
took
Jesus.
a lot of knives to take the bottom off that.
But yeah, it was like, same thing. Was like, I remember having one for keeping my change in, but it was a Smirnoff bottle. It wasn't a whiskey bottle. But then in my head, I'm thinking, I've seen 1 or 2 of them come through on the auctions, and they don't come through that often. then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, there can't be that many 4.5 litre bottles of, even if it's just Bell's or Grouse or whatever else, there can't be that many that have still got the seal on them. Because the whole idea was, once you bought one 4.5 litre bottle from Bell's or Grouse or whatever else,
Aye, when you go.
they would just come along and once that optic bottle was empty, they would just sell you a case of normal 70cl or 75cl bottles and you would just pour them back in
Seems about everything.
and stick it back on. So you only ever had to sell the bar one 4.5 litre bottle, which makes me think there can't be that many that are still fully intact.
Aye, true.
You know, it's like, but the downside is with the minimal alcohol pricing,
Aye,
Five
flaws
guys in
now.
the room.
you're 120 quid for 4.5 litres of Bell's.
So, right, we're going into our third one. What do you make of the second one?
Good.
No, for
Aye.
me, if I'm being honest.
Nah,
Nah,
good. What you find that you like?
I had took the last swig and I had the old Russia slappers to the mouth.
What's
No, that way.
Ah, right, aye.
It
aye,
was
I know
like,
what you're saying.
ooh,
Aye,
I'm really
hurts.
enjoying that.
I mean, Glenturret's had a bit of an up and down history. Is yeah, there was bad times before the good times.
What's the good time now?
Well, good times for them now. So they're now owned by a French glassmaking company, Lalique. You've ever heard of
Oh, I've
Lalique?
heard the name, aye.
So it's like they've been like making amazing antique glass for hundreds of years. But they basically, so it was Erdington Group used to own Glenturret. So Erdington own Macallan, we used to own Famous Grouse, they just sold that. They own Highland Park, they own Glenrothes Distillery, they used to own Glenturret Distillery, and recently they've sold that off to Lalique. I think the whole thing was that Lalique used to make the glass decanters for the really, really, really fancy Macallans.
Right.
So they were kind of first in line.
Aye.
It's like, do you want to buy this
Here, take a
distillery?
Aye.
That's mad,
So they
innit?
took it on, but they were also, once Lalique took it on, they were also, I think, the first Scotch whisky distillery to open a Michelin star restaurant in their distillery.
In Glenturret?
Yep.
Wow.
So I haven't been, unfortunately, just before I started work at Scotch Whisky Auctions, my boss took all of the staff
Oh,
to
Jesus,
Glenturret
Aye.
for a full
Get hints.
Michelin star meal
Start
at the
drinking
distillery.
my hints,
Aye,
man,
we're
get
like
yourself back.
Macallans and all the fancy Glenturrets and everything else. But yeah, that was just before I started, so I missed the boat there.
Right, we're going on to number 3. I've not tried this one before. The bartender said it's something weird.
Definitely Peaty.
Definitely P.
Your future in this game.
Mhm.
I've no tried it myself. Can't even say the name of it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Do you feel since the when was you last in the podcast?
That's punchy.
About
Punchy.
a month ago
Have you
probably.
been trying more whiskey since you've been on, or
Well, that night, I took Smudge out for his birthday. We sat and hammered whiskey for a good couple of hours down the stairs. Get talking to a guy that was there from Amsterdam, talking about him. And then we came out and I'm a wee bit wobbly in the legs, so I said to Smudge, Mum, we'll go for a scran. And he's been to Pasha up there.
No.
aye?
Oh, brilliant, mate. Shawarma, amazing.
Oh, mate, can't go wrong with
Ah,
shawarma.
you can't
man.
make shawarma film, mate.
Don't say that,
So,
man. Might be in a
Whiskey
diet.
and shawarma.
Mate, we scranned a shawarma, right, and then we came out, still steaming. And I'm like to Smudge, right, it's your birthday, mate, what do you want to do? And
Oh,
the two of us are just staring. There's a bucket of flats in the distance. He goes like that. Wonder what's up with Taffary flats. Like, Mum, we'll go find out then. Two
just
years.
in the video.
Trek to the bucket of flats, like 15 minutes. It was that when that storm made me. So that mate, getting pelted by wind and rain, man. Got to the bucket of flats. Like, right, how are we going to get in? It's one of the buzzer doors waited outside. A delivery driver came, ran in behind them, mate.
Just followed them
Aye,
in.
mate, we were trying to get on the roof, but we couldn't make it. But we got top floor.
Must have been that cash strength whiskey.
Aye, mate. Aye.
It's
So
probably-
I have,
You
aye.
got top floor. I've got videos. I'll show you them after.
Probably just as well. He didn't get up the top floor with that wind blowing, man.
Aye,
you know?
exactly,
It was
I
like
know.
me take
Yeah,
you away.
I was
It's all
trying to
good
send this
idea
to you,
at
but
the
I
time,
couldn't
innit?
find the video. Do you remember the Europe Brothers done that video?
Oh,
With
hilarious.
Riley's gaff, and it's
Aye.
we're just taking a piss at the cunt staying Monroe's, and it's like
Aye,
climbing
Monroe
high flats.
bagging. Aye.
That wasn't where I was going with that. I was going with, have you been enjoying whiskey more than since our podcast?
Well, aye, that's what I did. Oh, right, aye.
I've not climbed as many buildings.
I think it's when you're younger, say when you don't like beer, then you just start drinking it for free, and you're
Aye,
like, suddenly
definitely.
you're like, I get a European number, same with this.
Somebody said that to me today, actually, and they were like, you almost have to force yourself to like it to start with. And I was like, that should be a good way into whiskey, is like that you're sitting there.
I think that's the same with a lot of things.
That's
but
it, mate.
I think
That's how I
you need
started
to go
liking
through
every beer.
you need to go through the
The rough
bad
with the
times,
smooth.
exactly.
Mate, I was
Yeah.
listening to another podcast, and the guy that was doing the podcast is in this room, Paul, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, you fucking hate things to start with, and then they just turn into, oh, I can't wait to. Like,
I
I
think
remember
that's
the
just when you
first
get
time I tried a
older.
Budweiser, it was fucking stinking. I
Aye.
hated it, and then I remember
Still
having a
fucking
drink, remember
stinking.
in a wee pub with Budweiser.
The bud
It's still stinking,
the
but
bud
I started liking it, and then I was have pints, and then you move on. But like I hated it at the start, and I was like just forced myself because I wanted to look cool holding a beer.
a bud on tap gets a wee bit of a pass, it's alright. I'm not into cans.
Bud
A
on tap,
on
it's
tap's,
alright, aye.
meh.
Nah.
No,
So
for me.
it's not my
Can't-
first, it's not my
Can't
first
bang
choice.
accounts.
Mate, I
Yeah,
can't.
I just, it's
can't
too
even
fucking
tenants, man.
watery.
No, sacrilege, mate. Come on.
See if it's got, you can
Anime.
see if the pipes are clean, the tents, aye, lovely. But I lean towards the European ones. But see if you're drinking all day, tents.
Aye.
It's
Well,
a,
you're in the Guinness now? Or you were before me, you were trend
I
setting.
know, man. I was
Whiskey and
back
Guinness.
when I was
and
about
to be
21.
fair, usually I'm Guinness as well, but
Bags
when
me
you-
up, man.
when you're doing sort of like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 whiskies as well, it's like I kind of like staying on the lagers.
Yeah, I ended up steaming on lager.
It's light and clean,
Mm.
you know. It's like, but yeah, Guinness is my go-to.
Difference between having maybe a couple of tents cut against and having maybe a few like Peronies or something, do you know what I mean?
Oh, aye,
there's a difference there.
Aye.
Aye.
It
Terence
depends,
is good to get level pegging,
Aye.
mate.
it depends
You know,
where
you're
I am as well. It's like I never drink Guinness in a pot still. Never drink Guinness in a pot still, and that's not because I think the Guinness is bad in the pot still. I mean, they probably pour more pints of freaking Guinness in the pot still than most pubs in Glasgow, but it's because the half pint of Guinness is more expensive than almost every other fucking half pint in the
Exactly.
pot still. And I'm drinking whiskey in there as well, so you know it tots up. I mean, you know, I'm in there probably more often than I should be most weeks. But if you're in
For
drinking,
business, mate. Don't worry.
aye, of course, aye, always.
See when you were at the,
Businessman.
see when you were at the bars for that gig.
Aye.
This is the first place I had this, where I asked, "Do you have a Newquay Brown?
No,
Newcastle Brown?"
I've
I
never
went-
tried it, mate.
Love it, mate. It's nice.
I went-
Love
Aye.
a Newquay Brown.
I was
What,
in,
is it ale?
Aye,
Aye,
mate.
it's like
nice, mate.
a
It's
brown
really nice.
ale. Aye,
unbelievable. I went
great
with
stuff.
Ken
In a
or
bottle or
Bras.
like?
Aye,
In a
aye,
gla-
they
in a
don't-
glass
they don't
bottle.
do pints anymore.
In a glass bowl.
But it's a pint bottle.
Aye.
Really nice.
Poured out.
Nice,
I asked
I
for a
haven't tried
Guinness,
it.
but I was like, "I brought you a Newquay Brown," and I'm like, "Astor Springs, have you tried it?" And I was like, "No, I don't try it."
Mate, they've
So it's-
actually got something down the stairs. I don't know if we've got a thing, mate. It's a Scottish. It's like a gold nail. It looks. Somebody poured it. Looked fucking dynamite.
Aye.
Well, we went to Newcastle for a whiskey festival, and I was like, "Man, I'm going to get a pint of Newquay Brown here." It's like the home was like getting a pint of tents in Glasgow, and said to Bird and seen Astor, "Do you ever doing here day pints of Newcastle Brown on tap?" And she just looked dead sad and went, "Stopped that years ago, son. Stopped that years ago, son."
Yeah.
So what's the thoughts on the Drams? This final Dram?
I think it's lovely, mate.
So it's Iowa. I think. Nah, it's no. It's not salty enough for an
Free for
Iowa.
free tonight.
No, he's
Not you.
I'm swithering.
me picking alright.
Nah.
I'm swithering.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone trying to get the information from it.
I don't know if it's.
You've got a fucking wide range of stuff you could pick for this. Again, to me, looks like a
Nice label.
In my head, I'm trying to like process. I'm like, is it Iowa enough? Has it got that full on sort of like smoky, but also
so I'm
salty? I
gonna
think it is in Iowa.
fucking try to jump in before you said that. I was trying to gear it, then we'll cut this bit out. It is
You maybe hint.
Isle of Skye.
The Earl's Gay.
Right, so it's
Non-age
it's
statement.
not a Talisker. Is it? I mean, again.
This is tense. You should have a countdown clock on.
Well, it can only be one of two. It's like it's either a Torreveg or a Talisker.
Aye, Torreveg.
Aye,
So again,
young.
aye, non-age statement.
It's fucking good though.
It's nice, mate. I
How
like
can
that.
you
I
how
really
can you
like it.
tell that it's young? Like what's just because of your experience or
Young Iowas or young peaty stuff is quite feisty.
like
you know,
heavy on the
it's
peat?
Heavy on the peat and kind of like it's got a bit more sort of what would you say?
Character.
A bit more smokiness to it. You know, it's like not necessarily like peatiness, but like it's got a lot more smokiness to it. Whereas older stuff, everything mellows down.
Right.
Longer it's in the cask, all those flavours start
they combine, but
meld together. So if you were to drink a Lefroy that was like 35-year-old, that smoke has come
they've all got to know each other.
down. So exactly. It's like
Came to an amicable agreement. in the
everything
cask.
that's going on in that cask has been living together for 35 years. You know, everything's kind of now married together, and it's softer, it's sweeter. You will still get a bit of smoke, but it's tempered right down.
I feel right describing a whiskey or a relationship there.
Both, you know, it's like
Our paths must have changed because
I really
more
like
and
that,
more
mate.
we are getting well more into the peaty stuff.
I think I like the more kind of abrasive oofed
Aye,
ones.
mate, same. So,
Like what you were saying now.
mate, I just
you'll
feel
come full circle,
Think so?
guaranteed. When I started drinking whiskey, loved Lagavulins, Lefroigs, like the big heavy peaty beasts. And then after maybe like the first year or 2 years, and I was going, hang on a minute, I'm missing out like 90% of the whiskey world here. You know, it's like I need to go back and find other stuff. And then it was after that I started going like, nah, I'm not just going to keep ordering Iowas. I'm going to order, like we were saying earlier on, I'm going to order something weird, something that I wouldn't normally pick. And that's when you start to kind of come full circle when you go like, okay, well, there's a place for Iowas, a place for smoky stuff, there's a place for space ciders, a space for just like a really nice, light, low-end bourbon cask sitting in the springtime.
I think there's a time for a lot of stuff. I think I've always
Not tonight. We're running out of time.
I know, we certainly are running out of time. But I think so. People sometimes, for example, I was at a festival in Manchester. I was asking them. People were asking me like, what we've got and what I like, and I was like, well, to be honest, I started with this stuff and I've moved on. And they were saying, "Oh, what do you like?" I said, "Listen, I've not really tried a lot outside Scotch whisky because I think there's so much to learn."
Yep.
Even since thinking about saying that, I'm like that. I think I'll try all the weirdest stuff in Scotland and then branch out into English, Irish, and try weird stuff and Japanese stuff like that, and just keep track, because there's hundreds of stuff. Like, you can try bourbon casks and minor variances, but I think trying to keep yourself interested is.
I think you're bang on the right tracks, Jason. Is like concentrate on one thing first.
Aye.
You know, so like get your head around Scotch whisky first, and then once you've got your head around that, and you know kind of all the regions, and you know you can do like a low end in a peated cask, and you can do like a space side and whatever else. Then you've built a sort of reference library in the back of your head that once you go into English whisky or you go into Japanese whisky or something, you've got something to relate it back to, and you can go, oh, well, that kind of reminds me of, I don't know, like a Ben Nevis that had such and such thing.
Aye, because I think there's so much stuff up there, and it's still all, you look at it. I still love coming into looking at a gantry. It looks dynamite. I love that. Like, it looks so good, and then you down there try to pick 3 at a time, try to find something to find
work
something
with.
interesting. I'm like, this is good. Then also you're buying for 4 people. You're like, 80 quid. Like, maybe I don't go for £8 drams, but there's loads of stuff, and
Yeah, you're spoiled.
you're spoiled. But then again, you're kind of contained with trying to buy
I
for
mean,
4.
what I would always say as well is, and again, doing sort of tastings and things over the years, is because a lot of guys like yourself, similar position, you're now joining the whiskey journey where single malts have been quite a big thing for the last 20 years. So things that are sort of general releases like Diageo, Flora and Fauna, most people have never, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever tasted any of the Flora and Fauna
I've tried
bottles.
one. I can't remember what it was, but I know I have.
Like
Because somebody made a point to tell me what it was.
Benrinnes or an Aberfeldy.
Something like that.
Some of those are fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. You can still buy them.
Million flies up here.
Buy them on Amazon, stuff like that. You know, it's like they're not expensive. But I think everybody kind of turns their nose up at them because they're 43%. They're Diageo bottlings. Whereas now you're so spoilt for choice with independent bottlers.
Yeah.
They're
So
like,
sorry
"Oh,
for interrupting here, right? But I think it was one of you two that mentioned about. Was it you maybe? No, I can't remember. Somebody said something about trying stuff at 60, at 40 odd percent. And you're like, after trying cask strength stuff, it's
it's hard to go back.
Like I start to notice that and all.
It's hard to go
And I've
back.
said this before about trying it with my missus, and I was like, I tried this and it was good, but I can tell it's like weaker,
Weak.
and it's it's weaker.
It's weak.
And
It's
they're
not
like,
strong enough.
like, see when you say you kind of fancy the punchier stuff,
Aye.
like I think you do get used to trying like strong flavours.
Maybe that's what it is.
Aye,
Aye.
and
Yeah, just,
I think you start getting used to like stronger like ABV.
Mhm.
Which
so I've got one more tiny wee thing for you guys.
for first.
I know. I'll just pour you a tiny wee drip. But
It's a nice looking flask.
That is a very nice looking
Do
do
flask.
you remember the last time we done a podcast and I gave you a taste of my own blend?
Yeah.
The photos.
So this this is the evolution.
Oh right, so it's,
Ah,
So I've added three new whiskies.
I love it, mate.
Into this.
Fantastic.
Is aye, give yourself a wee rinse
bottle
out
if
of
you
one
want,
of the
mate.
glasses. I'll give you a wee taste
Just
of
pour
this.
some of that if you want.
that's away that one, mate.
I think they're all away, mate.
So
Just pour some of that pint glass if you want.
I'm just going to give you a tiny wee drop each. But
Thanks very
it's,
much.
Aye, thanks again.
Cheers, mate.
So you were talking about trying whiskies for that isn't whiskey for
Thanks,
different countries. Remember we tried that Swedish vacuum aged whiskey
A what?
up in
Oh,
the
was
filming
that,
bit up at Paul's.
Thanks,
What's a
Gary.
vacuum age one?
I
mate.
couldn't tell you the science, but it's aged with a vacuum
It says-
rather than time, which is illegal in the whiskey world. So it's not what they call.
It's Scotch whiskey.
Well,
aye.
okay, it's
they
not
said-
legal in our
Aye.
whiskey
I can't
rules.
remember exactly what they done, but it was
It's like some space age
It was
stuff.
lovely, mate. It was too much modern technology versus the older rules,
Aye.
but it was nice.
yeah, it was McMeera. Is it McMeera?
Aye,
that
it is.
done it?
No, I don't know. McMeera jumped to my head because
Did you get some of that, Anton?
I put my glass sample
Oh,
on
yeah.
there.
Just looked
Sorry,
at
you
our
had
empty. Aye, you're all
That's
good,
a
mate.
rinse one. Thank you, mate.
So what have you put into it?
Thanks very
Cool.
In
much.
fact, this could be your test here.
I
can't remember what was in it in the first place.
You'll fucking never get this.
How many whiskeys are it now?
That's Swedish.
Finish.
60,
So
70 whiskies in it.
67? Good number.
Yeah, somewhere around there is. But it's rounding out now as well. It's come back to
I think that's gone with a bourbon cast.
a couple of younger whiskies in there. Some bourbon, some sherry, some that had been in bourbon and sherry. How did we taste it last
I'll take my
night?
victory before I say anything else.
I still speaking.
I'll cash out that one there.
I mean, to be fair, there's probably
Aye.
70, 80 single malts.
It
in
would
that
be good. And I know that's lovely. Like I really like it.
That's lovely.
There's harness to it. Like it's hard to explain that. There's
Aye,
harness
it's
to it. But
depth.
see if there's. I feel just a wee poke there. I think with stuff like that, the one thing you can know for certain is like the ABV of what it is. If you had something that you could test what the ABV was of what you're drinking, you know what I mean? That's like probably the one thing you could pinpoint
Well,
what's in it.
Funnily enough, that was when I tasted the decanter that I put that in before I'd added said single malts into it. I was like, it's a wee bit fucking lacking a bit of oomph. And I was like, I need something just to give it a bit of punch. So I thought, well, if I put maybe like 2 or 3, not young whiskies in it, but like 10, 12-year-old whiskies in it was like that'll kind of bring up the ABV a wee bit, balance things out. I mean, there's in that blend, there's 35-year-old Macallan, there's 30-year-old Glendronachs in there. I mean, there's some seriously old stock in there.
Wow.
But there's also 1990s Highland Park 12-year-old.
Fuck's sake.
You know, there's like, I mean, it's a mad mix. I can't even remember. I've got the list of what went into this blend is spread over 3 or 4 notebooks.
Fucking hell.
Right, okay. So,
and I can't actually piece together exactly all of the stuff I put in and when I put it in. I should have been more detailed about it, but I'm just not that fucking good. So the stuff I have put in it was a 10-year-old Dal Ewan.
is it yours?
No, sorry, not a 10-year-old Dal Munich.
All right, okay.
So Dal Munich has only been operational for 11 years. So I think this
Fair play.
might be some of the oldest Dal Munich that's ever come out of the distillery.
There's a lot for it getting put into a blend straight away.
I think that's what it was all made for.
Oh, is it?
So it was on the site of the old Imperial Distillery. They demolished the Imperial Distillery. They built Dal Munich. And it's like a state-of-the-art. Unfortunately, it's not open to the public. But it looks amazing
Aye.
inside.
Where is it?
In Speyside.
Speyside.
Aye, up in Speyside.
Right, we're going to need to chuck it to that. Just a quick one. What's your favourite of the 4 we had there, Sean?
Hazelburn, mate. Beautiful.
What about yourself, Gary?
Shout.
What's your favourite? Yours, you're excluded for your own dram.
Oh, as well. I would probably say the Hazelburn as well. I think, aye.
Ah, it's lovely, mate.
I enjoyed the Tour of Egg.
Tour of Egg,
Tour of
yeah,
Egg.
it was good.
Aye,
It was
just
good.
checking how you said it.
Hazelburn number 1. I could drink a bottle of that pretty easily, which is
Aye.
dangerous. Number 2. I loved the depth and intricacy of your infinite number, but I was impressed by the non-aged ones. I don't know if
Aye, mate, I'm the same.
I've tried the non-aged one before, but I thought they were very smooth for what
I've
they
tried
were.
a couple.
They're
Aye,
They're
they were
getting
nice.
better.
And the
I think-
Hazelburn was top
Over
quality.
the last 6 months, I've heard a lot about them, but we're going to need to wrap it there, lads. Thanks very much for coming. There's a lot of empty glasses here. Me and Anton kind of achieved our goal to stop swearing as much, which is good.
Your goal.
Aye, I know, his motto helped me to stop swearing.
I
The
swear quite
podcast's
a lot,
amazing, but
apologies.
we
I
can just
know,
do
aye,
this well.
no, you're fine. It's better
YouTube
me.
doesn't like swearing so much.
No, I know. Well, sorry. They're just general public, according to...
Calling them odds.
Aye. Right, anyway, just a quick one to say thanks. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate your time again. I hope you've enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to you. I enjoyed
class, mate.
having a dram. Well done for all the topics that I sent you. We managed to talk about one of them. We figured out I'm scared of Willy Wonka. Basically, so this, we'll try and get a wee clip out of this. We're trying to sell some tickets. We're doing a beginner's whisky tasting. We're doing a beginner's whisky tasting in 3 venues. Mesa, the Alchemy Experiment and Cafe 77 in Paisley. And it's just for people who don't feel comfortable with whisky to try and come along. It's not all whisky on its own. It's 3 drams. It's 3 cocktails that have those drams in them. It's good for guys. It's good for females who have not tried whisky as well. Guys that have not tried whisky, as I should say there. It's good for people who have drunk whisky. The cocktails are made by Redmond's of Denniston, so they're top tier stuff. So you're more than welcome to buy a ticket. Tickets are on our Instagram, on a link in the bio. I think they're 40 quid, but I think I've priced them a wee bit too high. I'm going to go for 35. So hopefully you can buy some tickets, and hopefully I'll see you there. Again, thanks guys for coming.
Cheers
Appreciate
for
it.
Cheers,
having
guys.
us, man. Thank you.
I like that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Pause there for 3 claps.
I know, it's like, just one applause. Forget there's nobody else around, you know. I'm
Right,
used
cheers,
to
lads.
tastings.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Right, all good. Right, cheers lads.